Hey guys, so welcome to part 2 of probability. Again, like I said, it is for grade 10, but if you're a grade 11 and just want to brush up, you're more than welcome to just watch the video. Okay, so we are going to be looking at different types of notation, and we're going to be looking at and, or, and complement today. So you've got the first type of notation which we have looked at is the probability of A there. The N over here stands for the number of outcomes in event B, because the letter's over there. The capital S is the sample space. The capital A without the P or the N expects you to draw up the whole subset. Now remember, a subset is just pieces of the original sample space. And then you've got new ones that we're going to be looking at today is not A. So it's everything that is within the sample space that is not A. And A is A, B, C, D. Not A would be 1, 2, 3. And then this A with a little line, little prime over there, is just another way of us writing not A. Okay, so let's look at the definition of A and or. So and is what is common between the two events, or what is occurring in both events. We need to watch out for repeats with this one. Let's look at an example. So we've got a 12-sided die. Now this is theoretical probability. We are not going to physically roll this thing. We are given two events. So the first event is the first 5 natural numbers, and the second event is multiples of 5. So let's first look at our sample space. So we've got 1 to 12. This is our sample space. Now let's answer the questions. If it's just an n, it's wanting us just to draw out what this event looks like. So the first 5 natural numbers, remember, natural numbers are all numbers from 1 to infinity, not including decimals or fractions. So we are going to be dealing with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Multiples of 5 is just going to be 5 and 10. The number of n, well, let's count, only 5. The number of m, just 2. The probability of n. Well, remember, the probability is the number of outcomes over the sample space. And we know that the number of outcomes for n is 5, and the sample space is 12. For this one, it's just going to be 2 over 12. We can simplify that to 1 over 6. Now, these are the two new ones for today. It says or, and we go back to our definition, both events occurring together. Watch out for repeats. So what are the two events occurring together? N and M. Well, let's see. There's a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a repeat of a 5. So we need to remove one of those, and a 10. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 of the 12 outcomes. That would be half. And is referring to what is common between the two events. Well, if we look at what we just removed the common 5 from the or. So there is only 1 of 12 that is common. Okay. Let's look at the third piece that we're going to look at today. It's called the complement of an event. This is the negative. So this is an event consisting of all the outcomes in the sample space, but not in the mentioned event. So let's say that we have two events, A and B. The original sample space is A to K, and that is what A looks like, and that is what B looks like. So our sample space is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and K. And let's look at a couple of questions. So remember, if it doesn't have a P or an N attached to it, then it's asking just for you to look at the set. So what is not A? We know that A is A, B, C, D, E, F. And if we relate it to our original sample space, everything else that's not in A from the sample space will be not A. So that's going to be G, H, R, J, and K. So now what is the probability of not A? Well, the probability of not A is just going to be 5 over 11. Now why I'm using 11 is because the number in our sample space is 11. The number in A is 6. And the number in B is 5. So what you could have also done is just realize that our sample space is 11. A consists of 6. So not A would be the leftovers 5. So let's look at not B. They want us to write out the set. So I can see in B we don't have an A, B, C. We do have a D, an E, an F, and a G. We don't have an H. We have an R. We don't have a J, and we don't have a K. So that means it is 6 of the 11 is not B. But again, we can look at the fact that in B there is 5. Sample space is 11, which means that 5 taken away from 11 is 6. So now let's say that we joined the complement as well as the and the or that we just learned. So remember with and, what is common between the two events? So let's look. We are first going to look at not A, and we're going to look at B. What is now common between these two events? Well, they both have a G. They both have an R. And that is all. So not A and B is just going to be 2 over 11. Let's now look at A and not B. Let's just go over here. And it's and, which means what is common. So let's take a look. A is common, B is common, C is common. What else is common? Well, they both don't have an H, they both don't have a J, and they both don't have a K. So that is me done. 3 over 11. Let's go look at the next one. Change my color here. Not A and not B. So now we're going to look at the two complements and we're going to see what is common. So they both don't have an A, they both don't have a C, they both don't have a B, they both have an H, they both have a J, and they both have a K, which means that the probability of these two will be 11. You're more than welcome to pause the video if you would like to try some out by yourself, and then you just check the answer at the end. Let's look at if we had to add in or. Now remember, or was what is occurring in both events. Now we need to watch out for repeats here. Okay, so we're going to be looking at A and we're going to be looking at not B. So you see I'm using that new notation with the prime. We're going to be looking at what is occurring in both events. So we've got an A, a B, and a C. We're always going to try and relate it to the original sample space. Does any of them have a D? Yes. So that's in there. Does any of them have an E? Yes. Does any of them have an F? Yes. Does any of them have an H? Yes. Does any of them have a J? Yes. Does any of them have a K? Yes. So let's add that up. 3, 6, 9. So together, it'll be 9 over 11. But now there is a cheat to try and work this out. there's something called the fundamental principle of probability. And what you do, you go and calculate what A is. What was the number that we had for A here originally? The number of A was 6. The number of B was 5. And the number of S was 11. So what we can do is we can just add the probability of A is 6 over 11 plus the probability of not B is also 6 over 11, and then we just remove the repeats. So we had a repeat of A, B, and C, and if we remove that repeat, we get our 9 over 11. Now let's look at 1.7. Change this color to green. We're going to be looking at not A or B. Remember, we are looking for everything except for repeats. So we have a common D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and K. So this is the list of letters that are found in both A not or B, A not or B, without the repeats. And this is going to be 8 over 11. We can use the fundamental law of probability, which says not A is 5 over 11 plus B, which is also 5 over 11. And then we remove our repeats of G and R, and we are going to be left with 8 over 11. Let's look at this last one. I'm going to change my color to red. So we're going to look at not A. So not A and not B. And we're going to look at OR, which means we're going to be looking at all the letters that are in A, that are in not A and in not B, but not the common ones. So I've got an A, a B, a C, a G, an H, an I, a J, and a K. If we add those all together, the probability is going to be 8 over 11. Let's now look at the fundamental probability formula. So we'll be adding probability of not A, which was 5 over 11, plus the probability of not B, which is 6 over 11, subtracted by all those ones that were the same, and this is going to give me 8 over 11. Our commons were H and J. So hopefully we have a full understanding of what is going on here. And please, you're more than welcome to pause the video and do them yourself. But thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.